Thank you for that. And so hopefully now that's a bit of a taster of what our amazing collaboration pairs for Life Solutions and Maendeleo Yawanawake organization, as well as Medic and D3 have been working on this year. To frame the session a little bit, I'm going to provide a bit of background about the MLC and our collaboration grants. Let me share. Thanks. Thank you, Jake. So just to begin with, for anyone new to the, next slide please, for anyone new to the community or who needs a refresher, the Million Lives Collective is a global network of innovators and funders who each demonstrated impact at meaningful scale. And that could be whether they've reached 1 million lives or more, or whether they're successfully scaling through the public sector. As a platform, we're hosted by Results for Development, where the Million Lives Collective Global Secretariat lies, but we also have a regional hub in Nairobi that engages with local innovation ecosystems across the region to source, aggregate, connect, and amplify high impact innovations. And we now include more than 140 innovations impacting over 1 billion lives across over 130 countries. In short, we are a community of doers focused on turning promising innovations into systems level change. Next slide, please. So as the MLC, our work has 4 main pillars. We find and source innovations that are already achieving high impact. We showcase them to inspire in adoption. We connect innovators with funders, governments, other demand holders to unlock partnerships. And then we learn what it really takes to reach scale in different contexts. And I think you'll see that spirit of connection running right through today's session around the collaboration grants. Next slide, please. So what are the collaboration grants? Next slide. The collaboration grants were designed to answer a simple question, which is what becomes possible when you combine the strength of high impact proven scaling innovations within an ecosystem? What becomes possible when proven innovations work together? So rather than funding single organizations, collaboration grants invest in partnerships. So it could be partnerships between innovators, public sector actors, ecosystem partners, change makers, women's groups, to test how collaboration can accelerate progress towards equitable, inclusive, and sustainable development. Next slide. So what do collaboration grantees get? Each collaboration grant receives flexible funding, adaptive learning support, tailored technical assistance, that is needs-based, and an opportunity to test new models and strategies for scaling with other key ecosystem partners that can amplify the impact of all collaborating partners. So next slide, please. So I'm going to, next slide. I'm going to hand over right now to senior consultant at the Bayer Foundation, Michael Schwal, who has been working with us on these women's economic empowerment collaboration grants to kind of give you a sense of Bayer's entry point into them and what they're really about. So I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over to Michael.
Well, hello, my name is Michael Schwal, and just let me get the right screen here. Where is it? I'm sorry. Can you see it?
Sorry.
Yes, we can.
Excuse me. We can't hear.
You can't hear me?
Michael, your volume is a little bit low.
Yeah, just speak up a little bit.
That's better. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the Bayer Foundation has a kind of history in collaboration grants, and we started, many years ago with collaboration grant because we were looking to bring actually health and agriculture together, especially in a rural area, and promote these rural areas. We had a collaboration grant, at a similar challenge in Uganda, and there we worked with Healthy Entrepreneurs and Restore Vision, which was very successful, and that's why in our discussion with Lisa, who is also here, and the Gates Foundation, we thought that it might be a good idea to transpose this in the women economic empowerment area. And gratefully, Gates was also willing to fund this partially together with Bayer Foundation. And since Gates Foundation has the goal to increase income of 80 million low-income women in sub-Saharan Africa, this was actually, from our perspective, a very good test field to look into how we could support Gates Foundation in fulfilling their goals. So we had 2 rounds. First of all, we selected out of many applications 2 pairs of workers or 2 pairs of social innovators, which had the first round performed. Each of them were rewarded $100,000. And they had a test and learning phase with several sprints, which was supported by R4D. And out of them, and the whole thing started something like in July 2023. And we are now at the end of the first phase, where we selected, one of the winners of this first test and learning system, and are at the phase of basically promoting them to the next phase to do a real scalable testing. Up until now, I must say it was a very good and very smooth test and learn phase, because I attended a lot of these meetings, and it was a pleasure to work with For Life and Maendeleo to see how they actually can promote women to bring them more income. So probably Stefan can say now something about our Bayer Foundation and what we are doing in general. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. And thanks for having us, first of all. Let me see if I can share my screen. I hope I have the rights here. Okay. Let me know if you can see that screen.
Yes, we can. Thanks, Stefan.
Okay. Yeah, so first of all, thanks for everybody who's attending, and also especially the partners, the MLC and R4D as the host, but of course also the Gates Foundation for making this possible, because it wouldn't be without you. But of course, especially the awardees. So let's see how we continue the journey onwards from today. So I'm very excited about that. And Michael gave some useful context about how and why we engaged in this collaboration format already a couple of years now, actually. But let me give you a little bit of context also on Bayer Foundation. So as everybody probably already knows, we are the corporate foundation of the AgTech and pharmaceutical company from Germany, and it's basically an umbrella brand. So just to put it into the right view, I have a short overview here of the 3 major programs that we have under this foundation umbrella. One deals with the Bayer's past in Germany, and also with democracy strengthening and so on and so forth. That's on the right side here, but it's not relevant for our discussion. And under the direct Bayer Foundation umbrella brand, we have a science program that advances breakthrough science and equity in science, excellence, which is as well as trust in science, but this is also not a matter of discussion for today. Today, I'm going to be speaking about a little bit about our social innovation program, which is in the framework of which this whole collaboration also came to pass. So in general, you can say that we support social entrepreneurs, innovative social business models for community and systems change and strengthening in low and middle income countries. And the claim for this is science and social innovation, or social innovation in this case, for a world with health for all and hunger for none. That's basically the overall claim of Bayer Foundation, and we try to fulfill that through initiatives such as this one. But to map this out a little bit more in detail, these are the strategic priorities of the foundation overall in the social innovation program. So we have key foci on health and food security as overarching theme, and their nexus actually with the climate, because that's unfortunately becoming more and more interdependent. And then there are a bunch of, as you can see in this wheel, a bunch of sub focus areas that would lead too far to explain in detail now, but just to kind of highlight a couple, community health work is one, for example, and the last mile, of course, which is something that we're also dealing with here. But really what we want is to be catalytic in our partnership approaches, which is also why we're trying to build a baseline and a launchpad for a scaling process in this program. And obviously we have an LMIC scope. So as I already explained, it's not geared towards Europe or North America or anything like that. Of course, the impact measurement is really important for us to be able to prove that what we promise actually also happens. And I'm getting kind of mixed messages here on my screen, I just see. I hope you cannot see that. And what's hidden now behind this window, this pop-up window, is actually an important part is the gender lens of our programs, which is also a really important one. So what we have in terms of sub-programs under which this collaboration grant also falls, and this window doesn't seem to go anywhere, but anyway, I'll just continue, are three major sub-programs. And one is directly directed towards women empowerment, or women entrepreneurs funding, actually. It's called our Women Entrepreneurs Award, which we run together with Impact Hub. And that's also something that speaks a little bit to what we're doing here, but it's focused only on women. Then we have a startup academy where we do a lot of pro bono consulting through engineering schools, for example, master's programs, MBAs, and so on, for social enterprises. So again, working on problem solving and dealing with the scaling process of successful or promising social business models. And then we have the Social Innovation Ecosystem Fund, which you see on the right side here, which is the program out of which this collaboration is also funded. That's geared much more toward the larger scale, high impact collaborative ecosystems that we're trying to build. And that is really what our MLC and Women Economic Empowerment Program collaboration grants are part of. Why are we doing this? I mean, at the end of the day, we are facing challenges at this point in time, and especially against the backdrop of the radically changing geopolitical landscape, that no single organization will ever be able to solve on its own. With all due respect, Lisa, not even the Gates Foundation. So I think from our perspective, what really matters is not so much us as the donor organization or the organizations in general that provide the funding, but it's really about the people who actually make the difference. And radical collaboration formats encourage actually making it easier on the grantee and investee side rather than doubling or tripling bureaucratic efforts on the other side. So that's what we're also trying to test, try and learn, and also grow together through, as a community, as a collective rather, that wants and will fund more in a more agile way, and will try to encourage the models that we see here today as future self-sustaining growth models that can actually get the rubber on the road with our funding. I think that's really what we're looking at. That's what we want to do more of, and that's what we will explore today. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, with that, I will hand over to Lisa.
Thanks so much, Stefan. And it's great to hear everything that the Bayer Foundation is doing. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Women's Economic Empowerment Team for the Gates Foundation. And we were very, very lucky when we had our new strategy approved I think in September 2022, to get into this conversation with the Bayer Foundation. We were at the beginning of a new strategy, thinking about how to test and learn and understand what could really advance women's livelihoods. And the Bayer Foundation, as many of you know, are truly experts in the field of health services and agricultural services for women. But particularly, I think we found this shared passion around trying to support women at the end of the last mile. So rural women in economies that are fraught with market failures, so little liquidity, so many risks, so many needs for healthcare, so many needs for agricultural care, so many needs for women's livelihoods. And I think that we found a joint area of passion, and then we're very grateful to understand more about the Bayer Foundation's engagement in these challenge grants and the ability to put these challenges to this incredible community, to the Million Lives Collective, and to see what possibly could break through in an area where we knew that there were major challenges and not very much was working. So let me go ahead and just introduce myself and the team I come from at the Gates Foundation, and then I could speak a little bit more about how we're engaged here. We're very grateful to the Bayer Foundation for taking the lead on this grant. We have been testing and learning alongside, and very excited about what we'll hear in the session today. I have a slide, but I'm not sure how easy it is to share. I've become a Teams addict, I mean, let's see how this works. If I can share a little bit about the Gates Foundation's Women's Economic Empowerment Team. Can you see my slide?
That's good, yeah.
Okay, great. I will go ahead and maximize that, and I'll just walk you through kind of where we are. When we originally started working with the Bayer Foundation under our new strategy, where we sit. Let's see if I can move this forward. There we go. Where we sit inside the Gates Foundation is inside the Gender Equality Division. And the Gender Equality Division, as you can see, starts at the foundation with a large focus on health. About 2/3 of the funding at the Gates Foundation goes into women's health and children's health. So that's our maternal child nutrition programming, our family planning programming, some of the immunization work that really centers on women at the core of households to make those health decisions and to rise their family forward through health challenges that then enable children to go to school, et cetera. Moving up the ladder, we also recognize in the women's in the Gender Equality Division something that we call the Lives to Livelihoods Continuum. So essentially what this means is that if a woman's family is living in poverty, it's going to be difficult for her to make any real choices related to health and nutrition. So a woman's livelihood becomes a driver for family health, women's health, children's health and nutrition, and then women's health and nutrition then pushes forward women's livelihoods and family and family incomes. So this was, I think, something that was also very, very powerful for us in the partnership with the Bayer Foundation, again, is this important combination of health and also agriculture, where we know the vast majority of low-income women are working across sub-Saharan Africa. We also have a small team in the Gender Equality Division that focuses on women in leadership, which is obviously very important, elevating women. I think there are many women on this call today we would consider to be African women in leadership who are extremely important to the direction of the continent. And then we all focus on questions of gender norms. You know, we recognize that women function in economies and societies where there are invisible constraints to what women can do and how women can advance. And so everything that we do draws on the attempt to understand what those social norms might be. Let me just give you a couple more slides. I think this one is not that important, but this one maybe we'll go ahead and dive into in a little bit more detail. Michael had presented the 80 million target that we had 3 years ago. We have gently reduced our target to 60 million, and probably you all have a good understanding of why. We've decided to tighten that focus. That lowering of the target actually means that we have increased our focus on Africa. Originally, the target was tied to a number of countries in Asia, also in Africa. We will continue our deep focus on India, but really the majority of our work will be focused on sub-Saharan Africa now. And our goal is to help women advance their livelihoods and increase their incomes. Again, working with our health teams to see that lives to livelihoods continuum. Over the last 3 years, we've done a lot of test and learn, including this grant. We've been paying a lot of attention. And what we've landed on is a focus on women on an economic ladder, really helping women advance their livelihoods from what we would call the ultra poor. All the way up to growth enterprise. So right now where we're focused is on women as entrepreneurs in Africa. And the reason why we're focused on women as entrepreneurs in Africa is because we've learned actually that through all of the data that female entrepreneurs in Africa are the job creation engines for women in Africa as well. So if we want to find jobs for women, the best thing to do is to support women as entrepreneurs. And so again, this grant becomes extremely important in understanding how we get into the toughest areas and help women progress up this ladder. So it starts for us in the subsistence category. So women who are not working, who are part of the ultra poor, typically would be receiving social welfare payments from governments. We're doing a lot of work on ultra poor graduation, cash transfers, mentors, skilling to move women out of poverty. And then that moves them into our biggest category, and where our core expertise comes through, I think, is around women's group. And that's where we would call our economic resilience group. This is the biggest category. And I think, again, it speaks very, very closely to this investment here with the Bayer Foundation and the Million Lives Collective, because there's a massive women's group involved, many massive women's groups involved in this grant. And the power of bringing women together into groups, whether they're chamas or village savings and loans associations or women's affinity groups or church groups, it really doesn't matter. When women come together and they combine their economic power, they can advance. And so we've seen so much movement in this space, but also a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of issues. A lot of women in groups are invisible to the outside world. It's hard for private sector to engage. It's hard sometimes even for government to engage. So much of what we do here is focused on elevating women's groups, digitizing them, giving them digital identity and their own ability to progress, and then linking them to the enterprise growth phase. And this is where women begin to shine as individuals. And this is where they would get access to productive credit or other types of assets, smartphones, access to markets that help them to grow. One thing that we've seen is a lot of times women get stuck on this ladder in one step and they can't move up. What we're very committed to is watching women advance, is supporting women to advance through our programming. So I think I'll stop there and just again, communicate my deep respect for all of the organizations that have engaged in this challenge. It's possibly the most difficult challenge we face in poverty alleviation and economic development for Africa, is reaching into the deepest last mile of Africa and elevating women in communities and families. And we're so grateful to be a part of this and looking forward to learning today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that kind of really comprehensive and great presentation of kind of what Gates' current priorities are for women's economic empowerment. And I think that's probably a very rich source of information, hearing it directly from you about where the priorities are for innovators and where the demand and trend is. Continuing on that theme and kind of continuing on that line of learning, it's my pleasure to welcome back Michael Schwell, Senior Consultant at the Bayer Foundation. As I mentioned before, Michael has been really instrumental in supporting the Partners for Life Solutions and Maendeleo Yawanawake organization to translate ideas around collaboration into real and testable models, attending our biweekly sprint calls and all of that. So I think it would be great to have Michael officially announce our awardees for the Scale Collaboration Grant for 2025.
Oh.
So Michael, over to you.
Hello. I'm still facing. I must say I'm probably also already a Teams nerd. So yeah, so just to give you a little background as well, because I will correct on this slide this 80 million to something like 60 million. But you know, in the first round we had 2 awardees, and one was D3 and Medic. They actually were really concerned about looking at the increase of income of female community health workers in Zambia and in Zanzibar. They had also a very good report. However, you know, we have chosen for many other reasons, you know, for Life Solution and Maendeleo, which are sort of economically empower. I had a plan now to economically empower women through entrepreneurship in water sanitation, hygiene, and training to sell, you know, their Sawa cans, a solar-powered water disinfection solution that increase basically the income of these women who are selling it and improve access to safe water. Yeah, so what Maendeleo, I don't want to steal too much of the presentation, but you know the major is that Maendeleo and For Life showed that it's actually on a very small scale in the strategy development, showed that it's actually it's achievable to grow income in that area. They had a lot of community engagement with 100 women as a test field. They sold already about almost 3,000 of these Sawa units to 14,000 individuals. So that actually it had a high adoption rate for these Sawa cans, which gives us hope that, you know, also in the scale phase, this will be something like hopefully that brings the real makes the trick for the increase of income. Then you know, they develop business skills of you know, women in, you know, of these 100 women for training, and that was, I must say, in the beginning it was a little bit, yeah, blue-eyed that we thought this is an easy task. However, you know, there were a couple of you know, obstacles that had to be learned. That, you know, that literacy is a problem, and not everybody is speaking English, and so on. But you know, also in the strategy phase, you know, this was overcome, and they developed a very good strategy. And well, and adaptivity and resilience, the peer-to-peer sales model drives income of the of water and safe water access. And we learned a lot of well, we had a long learning, but it was very successful, and we as Bayer Foundation, together with a team of evaluators, we have chosen Life for Life and Maendeleo to go ahead and awarded them, with to the next step. So I would please, join me to welcome For Life Solution and Maendeleo organization, who will now showcase you what they did in the strategy development, and will tell you how they will scale this marvelous solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. My name is Isabella Dolo Mutinda, working for Maendeleo and working as the CEO. Under what we did, we were doing a partnership with For Life Solutions, and we'll have each one of them introduce themselves as they take part in the presentation. Mine is just to say that we are very grateful to be here today to be able to present to you our test and learn insights and also our scale-up strategy. And as a way of introduction, it's just to say that Maendeleo is one of the largest women organizations in Kenya, actually in Africa. And our work is dedicated purely to nurturing and empowering women from the grassroots through various capacity building interventions that promote women's rights, economic rights being one of them. And therefore, mine is to say we are grateful and to invite our national chairperson, who is going to tell us more about Maendeleo. Thereafter, the managing director of For Life is going to tell us more about For Life, and then we'll go to the technical presentation that will be done by Edwin from For Life. Thank you so much. Chair, you're most welcome.
Good afternoon. I don't know, good evening. In Kenya, we are early afternoon. My name is Mrs. Rahab Mwekali Moiu, the national chairperson of this institution, which is the oldest, 73 years today. It was started in 1952, before Kenya was independent. And behind me are all my predecessors. I am the 13th national chairperson. Now, briefly, we are 4 million members drawn from the 73 years we've been in existence. Some have fallen off away, some have died, and some are still alive. But going by our data, we have captured almost again 1 million and plus as of today, who, if I want to send a message, I can send today, and they have it straight away through Safaricom. Now, my board is 58 members, 47 county chairs, and 11 national officials. Our structure at the grassroots is from the ward, that is the smallest administrative unit in Kenya, the sub-county and county to national level, where I am. We are over 10,670 elected officials. So if I want to pass a message right now to my elected officials, I can reach over 10,670 right away. We have affiliated groups with us. I'm glad to hear one of I think the lady spoke about chamas. That is the name here, women groups, the chama. It started right here in this institution. So we have over 25,000 affiliated women groups to us. And so you can see where the composition of these members come from. Our partnership with the Bayer Foundation. Under the Bayer Foundation Women Economic Empowerment Program, MIWO has been privileged to play a key role in empowering women economically by we have mobilized and mentored sales agents, coordinated communities for the sour sales, strengthening local women economic participation. The impact so far, this pilot phase was small, but very powerful, impactful. We saw what is possible when women are equipped and when they are brought together and they are trusted. 2,980 sour cans were sold. 96 women agents were empowered. We reached approximately 37,500 women across the communities. With the lessons we have learned and the structures we have built over the years, we are ready to scale up in the next phase if we get this opportunity. We are targeting 15,000 to 20,000 MIWO women members. We are utilizing the established grassroots structures. We are building on women-proven successes for greater national impact. This is more than numbers. Sorry, I've left my glasses. It's about transforming women's lives, families, and communities through sustainable. Therefore, then you empower a woman, and this is a statement in the African or the Kenyan language. We always say, you educate a woman, you educate a village. So in conclusion then, when you empower a woman, you empower a nation. And I think somebody said about it, when a woman is healthy, that family is able to be healthy, to have nutrition, to have water. And this is the African context of a woman. We are the women, but we do have our men, but we tend to do a little bit more in managing as a custodian of the family. And this is the theme of this institution. We are the custodians of the family. And therefore, when you empower a woman, you empower a nation. Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization. Thank you. See you.
Thank you so much. Over to Caroline Gidenji.
Thank you, Stella, the chair of Maendeleo Wanawake. It's been an absolute pleasure working with Maendeleo Wanawake and just seeing how the work that they do at community level has such an impact, and seeing how they're able to mobilize all the women that we have the pleasure of working directly with. My name is Caroline Gedinji. I'm the African Managing Director of For Life Solutions. And it's a real pleasure to join this very inspiring gathering dedicated to advancing women's economic empowerment. And a little bit about For Life Solutions. For Life Solutions is a Danish-founded innovation company in the water purification sector, operating from Nairobi right now in Kenya, where our core operations are. But we have a founding team that sits in Copenhagen in Denmark. But we serve Africa first, which is why our operations are out of Nairobi. We have a local office in Nairobi, including a warehouse where we actually do our local assembly of our products, and therefore providing employment to the local team. I'm here with Edwin. Edwin has been the project champion for this project. He's been completely female ally for us, as well as the project leader, and he's going to get into the technical presentation. A little bit about what For Life Solutions does is that we are an innovations company that looks at creating solutions for water purification at the household level. There's been a lot of interventions in the wash sector that are at community level, when we look at purification at community water points. And we look at water purification from a household level, giving people agency over their own drinking water. Most of the people that we're focused on are the low-income communities, the very vulnerable, the off-grid communities that are not served by any water access within the country, especially in the rural areas. Some of them are on-grid as well, but unreliable grid. Even in Nairobi, you'll find that in the local informal settlements, there are a lot of people who are that never get the water. And we're also seeing a lot of challenges with contaminated on-grid water. So everybody tends to re-purify their water. Our flagship product and the product that we use for or household level water purification is known as the SAWA. So it stands for safe water. And we have 3 SAWA products. One is a bag that is a 4-liter bag that is mostly used in the humanitarian sector that lasts only a year, and therefore is good for quick interventions. And then we've got the SAWA can, which is the product that we work with Maendeleo and Arke with. It is a 6-liter jerry can, providing a lot more durability and opportunity for upcycling after its life cycle. And then we've got our newest product, which is our SAWA Flex, which is a 6-liter jerry can that also has high durability, lasts up to 3 years. $5, a family can get safe drinking water for 3 years for their family. The product can be completely recycled. We can give them incentives to buy a new one when they can start for recycling. We've managed to distribute over 500,000 solar units to and reaching over 1 million people to be able to access safe drinking water from wherever they are. And how this works is that we use methodological studies which have been around for a very long time, which is solar disinfection. The product is just put out in the sun for a maximum of 4 hours, depending on how hot the day is. And now actually innovated to include an indicator that allows you to tell whether or not the water enough UVA and UVB has gone through the products to kill all pathogens, disease-causing pathogens from bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. The good thing about this is that we serve people wherever they are. At the community level, they can collect water, either rainwater that they've harvested, pick water from the river, put it in the product, and then ensure that they have clean drinking water. We are very, very honored to be part of the Bayer Foundation and the MLC's Women Economic Empowerment Collaboration Programs, because in the work that we have been doing, we do all of our work through strategic partnerships, through social selling, which is what we're doing now with Maendeleo and Arke, with a peer-to-peer level with women, and also strategic partnerships with governments and not-for-profits who are in the WASH programs, gender programs. We're finding ourselves also working now in programs in female warfare and very many other intersectionalities. We see that the opportunity also for the gender action here in terms and the climate action are quite a number, because one of the things that we're seeing and Edwin, which is about the monitoring and evaluation work we do, is that a lot of the people impacted by, of course, water at the home are the women and girls, the ones collecting the water. They actually use the firewood to boil the water. And we're saying that this actually makes a big difference in that the water that they have and that they've collected, you do not need firewood, you do not need charcoal, all of which we know the issues that come with that. You can put it out in the sun and you've got a whole WHO verified method of purifying water. So we're very excited for this next phase and the many challenges that will bring. I think the team are ready and we are ready, and we're very, very happy we were selected to do the scale up, because it's one of the central programs that we've been that has really enabled us to learn a lot more about how we can continue to expand and extend our reach in this space. So thank you so much once again, and over to Edwin for the rest of it.
Edwin, before you come in, I just wanted to flag that you have 6 minutes, and so around 5 minutes, I'll jump in to let you know you have a minute more to wrap up. Thanks.
Got it, Chite. Thank you so much, and thank you, Caroline and Mrs. Rahab, for the introduction. My name is Edwin Muroki. I work with 4Life Solutions as the training and implementation manager, and I was a big part of the 4Life team that was involved in this test and learn pilot. And I want to take you through our learnings, our experiences, and what we plan to do in the next phase. So the test and learn pilot was scheduled for 1 year, ran between June of last year and June of this year. We trained 100 women and onboarded them as SAWA sales agents, providing them with the opportunity to market and sell our products as an income generating activity with the intention of ensuring that we are able to increase their income by at least 30%. Our hypothesis was really that if you empower the women and you train them, you can actually increase income growth and at the same time be able to tackle one of the challenges that is still grappling this part of the world, this part of sub-Saharan Africa, and that greatly impacts the women and children in our communities, that is providing access to safe drinking water. Some of the pilot results that we were able to identify or realize are we were able to sell an average of about 31 sour cans per sales agent, bringing the total to about 2,900 sour cans. We were able to reach about 14,500 people directly, and looking at how many people we were able to reach at the household level, that comes to about 37,500 people. In addition to that, with the sales agents that we were able to onboard, we were able to realize 42% of them actually achieving the threshold of increasing their income by 30%. And this overall had an income increase of about 18.5% for all the women. But 42% were able to get to 30%. In addition to that, we also realized a huge number of the women also reporting that they have improved decision-making within the household. And also beyond that, we also saw some interesting results that came out from this pilot. One of them was on youth engagement. By the end of the project in June of this year, we had engaged 27% of the women who had been engaged were actually between the ages of 18 and 30 years, which is an increase from where we started in June last year. Additionally, we also got a lot of insights from the women just by sitting down and speaking to them through the course of the project, engaging them through focus group discussions and also keeping regular communication and contact as well as support. And some of the insights that we were able to realize from discussions with the women included things like the value proposition and the perception of the product and what really convinces that end user to actually purchase that product. We found that perceived value was highest when the sales agents were actually could accompany the product demonstrations with and coupling that together with health education. So health and ensuring that you communicate health together with the product actually has an added value to the sales agent as they're able to close that sale much quicker. Sales and income growth performance, we also found that a huge number of the sales agents actually had been able to onboard or train or mentor other sales agents, about 81% of them. I'm not sure, Jite, if I'm rushing or I'm a bit too slow.
No, you're fine. You have 1 minute to go. So if you can begin to wrap up, 90 seconds to go. So if you can begin to wrap up, thank you.
All right. Then I can probably just speak very quickly on our strategy for scale. So we have come from a test and learn phase, and now we are going into proving that this is a model that can actually be scaled. And what we intend to do is use the same principle of income generation and selling our product to actually access that income growth. But we are going to scale our efforts now across 5 counties. We were working in 3 counties. Now we are going to scale it across 5 counties. We are going to also onboard 15,000 sales agents, or between 15,000 and 20,000. And our intention is to really push sales to figures of about 300,000 SAWA units sold, reaching about 750,000 beneficiaries. In addition to that, we are also going to partner with formal financial institutions to increase liquidity and provide the women with access to credit. And we are going to have a lot of the centralized distribution now being decentralized based on the models that, or based on the administrative organization of Maendeleo. So I think that is what I would perhaps want to mention at this point, and I'll leave it to you, Jita, for any questions or anything that I can expound on.
Thank you very much, Edwin, and thank you very much to the For Life Solutions and Maiwo collaboration pair. It's really been an honor to work with you, and we're really excited about this scale grant and the kind of amplification that you're pursuing and the learning that will come from that. I would have loved to stop for people to ask questions. What I would do is invite you to please, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. And I know that the Maendeleo and For Life Solutions teams will be looking in there to answer via text. But in the interest of time, I'm going to move on to our next section today. We've heard a lot about collaboration as a pathway to scale, but really, what does it take to make it work across different systems and contexts? To explore that, I am joined by 3 brilliant colleagues who live this every day. Joost van Engelen, founder of Healthy Entrepreneurs, a social enterprise that's building one of Africa's largest community-based health distribution networks and supporting thousands of community health entrepreneurs across the continent to improve access to essential health products and services. Also really excited to have Joost on the panel because Healthy Entrepreneurs were our first, actually our pilot collaboration grant pair back in 2022, with whom we tested this model, creating impact with Restoring Vision, another MLC member at the Nexus of Health and Agriculture, by scaling vision, eyesight, for smallholder farmers in Uganda. And my colleague will be putting a link to their impact assessment and kind of how that first collaboration grant went in the chat. So feel free to check it out later on. Second on my panel is Ruwaida Naikwa, partnership specialist at Asil Technologies, where she also leads the Afghan Women in Tech Leadership Fellowship, which is a groundbreaking initiative promoting women's economic empowerment and digital inclusion, despite severe restriction on women's work in Afghanistan. And lastly, I would like to also recognize on the panel, Dr. Ida Kelly, Head of Resource Mobilization at the Kisumu County Department of Health and Sanitation in Kenya, who brings a public sector lens, helping us understand how governments can create the enabling conditions that allow collaborations with innovators and communities to thrive and be sustained. The MLC is also working with Dr. Kelly on a piece of research that will be out soon. And that research is about creative procurement opportunities in the public sector for scaling innovation. So to get right into it, I'm going to start with you, Joost. Healthy Entrepreneurs has experience partnering with governments, with communities, with private sector actors. But can you share maybe your experience of having, been resourced to explore a new collaboration strategy, and then comment on what elements support strong collaborations? We know that collaboration can be challenging. Maybe you can also touch on how you've handled challenges when forming partnerships. I'll give you a couple of minutes and I'll let you know when we're getting close to time.
Well, thank you very much, Jita. Just to do a brief introduction of Healthy Entrepreneurs, we deploy a last mile service delivery model where we work with existing community health workers, community health promoters, VHTs, whatever the name is, part of the official public health system. We empower them by giving them training, we coach them, we equip them, we organize regular supply chain of a full basket of healthcare commodities, where we are actually enabling the health workers as they also receive credits to actually generate an income. We also give them an income protection to make sure that once they have reached a certain level of income, we're able to keep them there, and we will protect them against financial tragedies, including hospital insurance, but also a solution where we are able to provide full credit in case of a financial tragedy at home. This results that community health workers that join our program will experience a 70% increase of income due to the program. And at the same time, we are able to actually bring for final beneficiaries the cost down to access healthcare from around 15% out of pocket to between 6 to 8%. And the services we are offering are primarily female care, by actually more than 80% of our entrepreneurs who are women. We are focusing on child and female health for different age categories. Partnerships, we've done a lot. And here you're already referring to partnership with Restore Vision, which is actually a partnership with a partner who is actually complementing our work. But also we have partnered with investors, and I think the Bayer Foundation is a good example of our collaboration. And also we are partnering with governments. And it's actually interesting that Dr. Kelly is one of our partners. So she will also refer to our collaboration, because actually the Kisumu County is a good example of a great partnership with the government, which every partnership has complexities. And so let me first refer to the partnership with Restore Vision, but also with other partners that actually we learned through Bayer, because also we are working together with other organizations like Sanku, but also Abimbola from Advantage Health Africa, who has been a great partner so far. But also we talk about Rosie's World. And so there has been a lot of partnerships that actually been created by the Bayer Foundation by bringing us as complementary IPs together. And that's actually, I think, a very valuable lesson learned. Also something I strongly recommend, and it might even be a recommendation for the Gates Foundation to help IPs to learn more from your lessons learned, and also to help us to learn working more together and actually identify peers that are in the same focus, the same priority, the same ambition to collaborate. It's very valuable for us as IPs to actually learn and see what works and what does not. In fact, also just a presentation about For Life is also, we have been working with them in Uganda at a very early stage. At the same time, our collaboration with government is very different. And I think that's a key observation. I have not actually experienced a smooth collaboration with governments. Exceptions for the Kisumu County, I will tell you more about. But what I learned is that actually for our work, we are leveraging on the public health system. We need to align our work together with the government. We agree on what are the products offered. We agree on what actually the terms are. We agree how to do joint supervision. And we agree on actually what are the responsibilities for healthy entrepreneurs and with the government. And to align that actually takes time. It took us more than a year to sign an MOU with the Ministry of Health in Tanzania, which is a process that was actually long. Why? Because the government is not used to sign MOUs with private sector, especially in the health space. Public-private partnerships are not very commonly applicable. And then at the same time, we realized that it is for us as an outsider also hard to understand what are the exact trajectories to actually get into that collaboration. So it's another recommendation for this group, for Bayer and Gates, to actually support ministries in actually more collaboration with private sector, because we all believe there is a lot to gain. At the same time, the entrance to a market in the public health space is actually complicated, and actually we might almost get support or actually technical assistance, how such a process works for both the IPs as much actually for governments, because governments can actually benefit a lot from starting to learn more from best practices, how to work with private sector, how they can benefit, instead of only having the negative association the private sector is overcharging cost and actually making that that people are not having best value for money. I can prove it's the opposite.
Thank you for that, Yus. Thank you for that, Yus. I'm gonna step in, and I'm gonna come back to you to kind of talk a little bit more on kind of what other ecosystem partners can do to support more generative collaboration. But I think what you were saying about, and some of the lessons you're drawing about how funders can kind of come in to support collaboration and partnership are really, really, I think, great points and really well taken. And I think just picking up from what you were saying about partnering with government, I'm going to go over to Dr. Kelly. And I mean, I would love to hear from you from a public sector perspective and as someone involved in procuring innovation, kind of how do you respond to some of the challenges that innovators say they find partnering with public sector? And specifically, what does a good collaboration look like to you? What are you expecting?
Yes, so first of all, I want to congratulate you for the great work that you're doing, because just as has been mentioned, in the African context, we believe that empowering women actually means empowering a whole nation. And so us as a government have been very keen on ensuring that we continuously empower our women and also innovators to access our people and also to provide their innovations in a manner that is able to support the people that we serve. And so in this effort, we regularly meet innovators within the innovation space. And us as a government, our role actually in the government space is working as catalysts, facilitators, and also conveners for the innovators. And it is from this angle that we look at ourselves as a government. Our work in this space is actually to, one of the things that we hold very key is creating an enabling environment and policies that support innovators to access our systems. We do, we regularly do our strategic plans, and it is from these plans that we align our priorities as a government. Following from these strategic plans, whenever we have innovators coming in, we help them to align to our strategic plans. Some of the innovators, of course, find access to our strategic plans or the county the development plans online, which we also share online so that innovators are able to see how the innovations are able to align to our plans. Over and above this, as we receive the innovators in the county, our role as facilitators include linking these innovators to the community and even to relevant government agencies. They may not be coming to a system that is supported within health. Sometimes when they come, you look at their innovation and you find that in as much as it is in health, but the way it is designed may suit another government agency or another agency. And so that in that space, then we assist them to align to that particular agency or the arm of government. But where they are aligning to the health department, for example, where I work, over and above the alignment to the system, we then also support them in through assessing their acquisition models, like if at all, say they're coming to offer a solution that is around technology, for example, how then are they able to, we help them to align to the acquisition systems of government, that is sometimes like procurement systems. Which model of procurement would they go through to assist them get into that space? Sometimes maybe they are coming and we look at it and we see this suits into like a public-private collaboration or public-private partnership models. So all these are usually things that are not very clear to innovators at the onset. And my work in the government is actually to help these innovators to align to the system. A lot of times we find that our innovators, by the time they reach the county, most of the time they do not understand the systems in the government. They find it really difficult to align to those to our strategic plans and even to the systems of the models of acquisition of government. And like even if we were to tell them now going to do a procurement, wait for a procurement process, when we advertise a procurement process, sometimes they don't even know how do we fill this, how do we do this, when do we know that this has been advertised and all that. So my work is actually to help them to align to that system, to all those systems, whichever that is relevant to them. We also, through this model, help them to draft agreements or MOUs that help us to align the work that we do in a manner that is able to help us to realize, to have a structured and sustainable framework that continues to help us to deliver the project. We help them, we work with our innovators.
Sorry to cut in. Thank you, Dr. Kerry. I'm just very cautious of time, but I think the main thing that I'm getting from what you're saying is that there's a role that public sector and county governments, for example, what you're doing with Kisumu County, have a role to play. They have to play in kind of smoothing the relationship with helping innovators kind of really be ready to partner with them, kind of hearing where they are, listening to their ideas and kind of directing them to the right place, supporting them to get their applications correctly. And I think we're really excited about the research we've been doing with the county with you because of kind of what we're learning about kind of how the county is structuring that approach and making it a little bit easier for innovators to find those public sector partnerships. And I'm going to come back and continue with what you were saying in a moment. But I do want to shift gears a little bit to bring in Rowida, who is working in kind of one of the most challenging environments for women's economic participation in the world. And you've launched a pilot, Afghan Women in Tech Fellowship. Could you maybe share an example of a collaboration that has truly worked in this context, like one that is helping you sustain and expand this opportunity for these opportunities for Afghan women? And kind of how are you navigating challenges in forming and maintaining collaborations to advance women's economic empowerment in your work?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jai. Thank you so much for giving the time for me as well. It's an honor to be here, and thank you so much, Lopez, for putting our program link here. Yeah, so despite the discussion here is more, focused on the African woman, but yeah, we're working mainly, and we've initiated the program for Afghan women, and we're working, as you have mentioned, in one of the most challenging environments in general for women, which is Afghanistan, and so there are a lot of restrictions that you might have heard from the news, including women's, participation in the economy, especially in the many other opportunities are limited, especially with the restrictions on the education and public sector employment. And then Afghan women are not allowed to go to schools in some instances and attend universities, and eventually go and work in person in any kind of governmental and private sector. And so in response to this challenge, SEAL, which is a tech-driven company, we're creating the disruption technology solutions to the global challenges. And the challenge that we have found right now for the Afghan woman, we've initiated this 50 Afghan women tech leadership program, which is designed to create the remote work opportunities for Afghan women, to empower them to become technology leaders in the future, which is a sector that the entire world, woman in the world contribution is less in the tech industry, but especially for the Afghan woman, this contribution is less than 1%. So we've created this opportunity for them, and we're providing them in this program with a stipend at least, which will get them to gain the economic independence, while also stepping into their leadership roles as well. We're also providing them in this program with the necessary equipment that they might need to facilitate their remote work. And so till now, with the support of a lot of partners that were partnering, AJ Foundation and Hawaii US, W4, one of the largest companies in the UK, and then W4 in Paris, and also Vital Voices Global Partnership. We've supported 35 women who are working in the tech-driven companies like Asil itself, Code to Aspire, CTI, and then Rapid Ration that are mostly tech-oriented. They are working on these organizations, and so they are getting 2 months of intensive training, and then after 2 months of training, they're stepping in and getting these 10 other months of the year to begin and practice into the working on the different projects and getting on the tasks that they're having. And so this have been very effective. Until now, we have gone through this process, and that was very rare for Afghan women to step into a tech industry, and that's kind of again that valuable tech skills. And that kind of this collaboration was transformative. And as you can see in our link in this page, our target is 50, but so we're willing to conclude this 50 other and this by the end of this 2024 and go for 100 and more than that. And so one of the impact that this program is having, we're not willing to support one woman by this program. It's like kind of sustainable program. When we're supporting one woman, these women might be able to become leaders for other women, and that was kind of surprising for me because I'm leading this program. One of our developers who's working on Code to Inspire, she was able to kind of train other women, and she is kind of training other women and developers, junior developers, and she's holding the classes of, if I'm not wrong, 650 other juniors and training. So I mean, supporting in this program, the one woman is like we're supporting other people. So one of the challenges that we were facing were there are a lot of restrictions by the current authorities, but the only way that could connect us and get other, women to step in was the tech industry. And so we have initiated this program, which was really transformative, and then get them to step into their leadership team, which wasn't very easy, but we've done this successfully with the 2 cohorts that we're having in our page. We have seen that, and we're gonna do the other launch with humanity, hopefully in November, and then Afghan will leave with other partners. But what we're willing once again from other, I know that MLC and also the Bayer Foundation or the Gates Foundation mentioned that the contribution of they have shifted their focus or the budget there for the African woman, which is great. The underserved communities is good, but also Afghanistan, which is one of the underserved communities, we're willing to create this infrastructure. And if we could implement it here, we would be obviously able to go ahead and do it in other countries as well. And so we are telling this AWTL, which stands for Afghan Women in Tech Leadership program, we're willing to expand this, go to hundreds, not for Afghanistan, but for Africa and other countries as well, because this was very successful. The partners are very satisfied, and we're also seeing the impact that we're making. This page that we're currently seeing right now that was shared by Lopez is created by one of our fellows who just got like 2 months of training and stepped into this. So overall, this is the kind of collaboration we have done in a restricted environment. Just because we're restricted in time, I'm going to stop here. And this kind of initiative that we've provided for Afghan women.
Thank you, Raida. I think that's it's amazing to hear kind of how you're working around some of the restrictions that exist within your ecosystem to still provide these opportunities for women to achieve economic empowerment, to increase their income. So really great work with that. I know we have very little time left, and I had a lot more questions to ask you, but I think what I'm going to do is go straight to a question that I have not only for you, 3 panelists, but for everyone who's in the room. Just in less than a minute, if you could, in the next 12 months, what kind of collaborations are you looking for that you believe would amplify the impact of the work you're doing? And it could be collaboration with a government, it could be collaboration with another innovator, it could be someone you know by name, it could be kind of a profile of what would be useful to your organization. But yeah, what would be a priority kind of game-changing collaboration that you would like? Put it out in the air. Who knows who might be able to connect you or what might come from it. And I'll start with you, to kind of talk about that. 1 minute, please.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, we have very good collaborations with governments. I would like to emphasize the collaboration with both the Kisumu County, but also very much Kaduna County in Nigeria, where we realized a very close collaboration. It almost seems like there is a next level of collaboration. First, we bring partners together, and then we also bring partners and governments together. This is what I would like to do, to continue doing. And actually, I would love to work together with the Kisumu County on scaling our work of actually improving the income generating activities for all the community health workers in Kisumu County. And I hope that actually there is people in the room that are willing to consider funding that, complementing the great work we do together with Bayer and Gates in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Yus, for being on time. Dr. Kelly, it'll be great to hear from you. Like, what are some of the county priorities right now, and like, what would be a really good partnership? What's a critical challenge that you're looking to solve and you're looking for innovation to pair with? Could you maybe come in for 1 minute as well and just kind of share what's happening in the county that you are looking for innovation for?
Okay, so as a county, we are of course really upbeat about expanding our collaboration with healthy entrepreneurs to cover most of our counties. This has been a very successful collaboration that has helped us to improve the income of our healthcare, the health CHPs, the county health promoters, and also to increase awareness, to strengthen our preventive and promotive services. And also, we would also want to expand into our Safe Mama Tech solutions. Safe Mama Tech surrounds providing solutions to safe delivery, ensuring safe delivery, safe pregnancy and delivery of our mothers within the county, solarization of our primary health facilities to ensure that there's more access to care even during night hours, and expanding our wellness centers to increase our preventive and promotive services. All these are geared towards strengthening our primary care networks and ensuring that our primary care networks are strong enough to handle the numbers and to serve the community better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kelly, for that. And Rowida, over to you. What is one collaboration that would be really catalytic that you'd love to have in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so I think in addition to the program that I have mentioned here, because in ASIL we're having other parts, we're calling them Do Good, which is mainly focused on the humanitarian part, and the other part is Buy Good. We're providing the opportunity for specifically for women entrepreneurs to come in and sell their products. It's like a marketplace to sell their products globally. And so to kind of, I mean, request from the collaboration from the current government is a little bit, not a good choice, but we're requesting from bigger agencies and then the foundation to kind of, because we're localized here in Afghanistan, and then we're also having a branch in Turkey as well. We're willing them to, in addition to the funding that they can give to the local agencies here, we're having a community-based network here. We call them Atalon, that they can give it to them to support the business, the woman-led businesses, and also this program that we're having also on the context of a humanitarian part that we're having on the health sector and other campaigns that we're having. These bigger foundations and then the other bigger agencies, they can partner with the local agencies and kind of support us to be able to support other businesses and other fellows in the program that we're having in order to onboard them in the tech area. And in addition to that, what we're looking is to have like kind of partners who can connect these fellows with the bigger, not just in local market, but also in the global network and then market, to be able to get them, connect them with work space, and also in terms of developing their skills, whatever opportunity which is coming, we're appreciating that. And so whatever collaboration that is coming in getting the skills of these women to go high. It's very important in terms of the leadership, other soft skills that, and then also specifically on the tech sector is appreciated. So the kind of collaboration that we are looking, in addition to the government, that we can expect them from our current government in Afghanistan, but also from other agencies, we're looking for this kind of collaboration in addition to the direct support that will come into our program and follows.
Thank you so much for that, Ruwaida, and hopefully someone's listening and can kind of point you in the direction of potential partners. Recognizing we only have 2 minutes, I'm so sorry we haven't had as much time to go into the chat or to get feedback. Please feel free to email us even after this, message us and let us know what you think, what kinds of collaborations that you get to have. But at this point, I wanted to just say thank you so much to everyone for participating today. A huge thank you to our speakers, Lisa Schrader, Deputy Director of Women's Economic Empowerment at Gates, Stefan Willem, Director of Social Innovation at Bayer Foundation, Senior Consultant at Bayer Foundation, Michael Schwal, our awardees, For Life Solutions and Maendeleo, Yawanawake Organization, our brilliant panelists, Yus Vanengen, Ruwaida Naikwa, and Dr. Ida Kelly for your insights and openness to share. And to everyone else who's joined, really excited to have you. One thing I'm excited to share is that we will be launching a new round of MLC collaboration grants. We have a new funder who's going to be joining this collaboration grant family with us. And we'll be building on everything we've learned from this new phase. I'm not going to officially announce it yet. I'm going to hold on for that. So please make sure that you're receiving emails from us. If you're not, let us know and we'll add you to our mailing list. But we'll follow up with that information and with a proper announcement of our new collaboration grant at the end of this year. We'll also follow up with today's highlights and information on how to stay involved. On behalf of the Million Lives Collective and our partners at Bayer, thank you very much once again for your time, your energy, and continued commitment to advancing women's economic empowerment through collaboration. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day. We're getting you out of here on time. Thank you all. It's closing the event. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.